just the importance of balancing that well. The whole idea that, you know, the sales from the goodness plan are important because that is ensuring that we now, in an ideal situation, would have time to really focus 100% on the ministry. And what we're recognizing right now is because we have a product that's selling, and you end up in this situation where you're looking at the numbers, you're constantly like, oh, the algorithm, trying to, all of these things are coming up where that seem like hindrances to sales. So that's frustrating. And then stepping back from a broader picture, recognizing that that's not really a space we want to be in, ultimately.
Right.
I don't know if you wanted to add something more to that.
No, I mean, I think you pretty much got it. Our goal is ministry. That's where our heart is, and we love being able to create a tool to help women get more margin, live abundant lives. It helps us. It's what we use. It's what we love to use. But the issue now is, how do we do it where we're able to use our gifts to the glory of God, meaning being able to pour out into the lives of other women daily encouragement, which is our goal, be it on social media or on our website, and also be able to generate an income that can sustain our lives. Because I'm in a situation now where I was offered a job. I work in the film industry as a production accountant, and I was offered a job which was asked to leave right before Thanksgiving, and I had to say no. And I mean, she was laughing at me earlier because I got a bit emotional about it. I'm like, they wanted me to get on a plane right before Thanksgiving, and I was like, but no, I've got a planner. I've got to sell a planner. Our planner gets here the beginning of December, and we're supposed to ship out by the middle of December, so that everybody has their planner by Christmas. And then the follow-up was that, well, what if we came now, like got on a plane immediately, and then we were able to get you back right before... She's laughing. We were able to get you back right before Christmas. And I was like, no, I can't travel.
Well, I'm laughing.
It's too soon.
I'm laughing because this is what happened last year.
Yes, and then she was stuck doing fulfillment on her own. And I didn't...
She was traveled out of country working.
I was in Africa working.
So, and I guess it's well, I mean, we're laughing, but some of it's actually really not funny because, again, it goes back to the issue of...
She was like, this is me last year. And I'm like, and once again, it's like out of the country in a completely different time zone where I would be working in excess of 12 hours a day.
Basically.
Most days of the week, completely unavailable. And then that's the issue that it's like a unique issue for me because I do freelance work. And when I'm working on a production, I'm not available at all. And so feeling the call in my life to do ministry and to be able to just pour into the lives of others, I've just constantly been feeling this nudge to find other avenues of financially supporting myself so that I am not working in a whole nother country, another continent, different time zone from where all of the people that I'm really connected to, and unable to do this work that God has called me to do. So it's a challenge, especially then if I find myself really working from that state of hustle instead of, I really am just craving just writing blog posts. Like that's what I want to do is I really just want to write blog posts, do some more Bible studies. We've got some really great resources that we've written. We've got a fasting toolkit, which is amazing. If you don't have it, you should download it from our Stay Steeped site. It's free. Then we've got another resource called the 90-Day Challenge, 36 pages, and it's free. And that's something that we have been talking about. How do we now promote it, but not promote it in terms of like a challenge? Like how do we walk people through this 90-day challenge so that people can start to see real results? Guess what? We need to have time available to now put that together so that we can now do those kinds of teachings. And because these are free resources, because that was the goal with Stay Steep, was to be able to provide free resources that will change your life. Like it's not baby stuff. Like our fasting toolkit it's going to get you there because it's not a lightweight protocol.
Right.
So we want to be able to provide the right accompanying teachings so that people can actually have transformation through following our steps in the fasting toolkit. Like, we don't want you to be getting all these resources and trying something and not getting the result. Like, I want you to get the result on the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But it requires us to be available. Like, the margin in our lives, we need to be able to use that margin to create the resources, the additional accompanying resources and stuff. And I feel like that's the best use of my time. I think, you would agree for your time as well.
Right. And I think that kind of, just to kind of bring us back to the topic a little bit, I think that then again, because we were having this topic off camera, and I'm like, well, it seems like we only have two options. Either we, and both seem like extremes. So on one hand, I was like, okay, well, why don't we, it's like focusing just like, or ignoring the numbers, just say, okay, we're just going to just continue doing that. It seemed like there was something about that just seemed a little irresponsible, or I don't know, there's probably a more perfect word for that, but I didn't think that was the answer. And then my other answer was, well, why don't we just stop our business? Like, let's just not do it. Let's not do it anymore, because again, if it's taking us away from ministry and that's really what we want to do, let's just not do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tilu just brought up the topic that she just mentioned, that at the end of the day, this is the thing that's supposed to
make it sustainable,
so she doesn't have to work, almost like thinking of ourselves as pastors. And if you think about at a lot of churches, I mean, sometimes pastors have to keep a job, but for more, kind of bigger mid-sized churches, that is your job as a pastor. Is that you are in the book, and preparing and,
just full time
feeding the flock. I mean, because there's lots of things that you have to do.
Sorry, not to cut you off, but I mean,
sermons.
Like, my sister would like tend to run the Instagram account. I tend to manage like the Facebook. And there was a time when she was like literally looking over my shoulder and seeing the messages that we get in. And she was like, you can't have a full-time job and like respond to people like this.
No, because people are
people are.
Can you say texting or emailing?
It's messaging. Yeah,
it's
messaging your heart. Yeah,
with their issues,
real deep issues that are very layered and
require
care.
Definitely some care and probably some biblical foundation teaching. So you can't just say. You actually have to like provide something and some deep prayer.
Well, we want to. I mean, that's why we do this.
Right.
So I take care with every response to make sure that I'm covering all bases.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
If you're like noting everything that, people saying, oh, and what about my mom? And what about this? And what about this? And so you're bullet pointing all
and this is what's going on with my husband. This is what's going on, and this is what's going on with the kids.
Right.
It's like,
it's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So I guess, just the frustration it's just one of those things where, I guess for other faith-based businesses out there, how are you managing that? Like how are you able to say, okay, I'm not going to look at the numbers. I mean, I don't know how you can authentically do that, again, because those numbers, the sales is what allow mercy is what allow is allowing, ultimately Tilu, to not have to have an additional outside job. That is our goal. Let me state that, because we are not there, but that